So my name is Tony Gonzalez. We are here in Madrid, but I'm from Cuba. I was born in Cuba.
Ah, Cubano, eh?
Yes, Cubano. Yes, something that I would like to ask you first, taking account that your father was a Mexican. Do you speak Spanish?
No muy bien, poquito, habla español poquito.
Poquito, okay.
I was raised in an English household, and my dad would speak Spanish just occasionally, but not a lot. And we also lived in South America, and I had to learn how to speak to communicate with my friends in South America, but I don't practice enough, I think.
We are here because you are now member of King Kobra, and the band released a new CD called We Are Warriors. Tell me, Carlos, how were you involved in King Kobra?
Carmine and Paul were working on the record before they had contacted me, and they got a hold of me and asked me if I would be interested in maybe recording one or two songs. And it ended up I did the whole record, but yeah, they when they asked me to work with them, I said sure. I mean, I wasn't doing anything at the time, and to work with those guys is a real pleasure. I've worked with Carmine before and worked with Paul on many projects, and they're easy to work with and nice guys and talented people. So it was a no-brainer. You know, I just said, yeah, I'll do it. And I ended up doing the whole record, and I thought it came out good. You know, I like it.
I imagine that you were there in King Kobra because of Paul Shortino, because you worked with him in Quiet Riot in 1988, and more recently in Rough Riot.
Oh, for Rough Riot, yeah. And King Kobra, yes.
Tell me more about Rough Riot.
Well, Rough Riot was just a project that we worked with for a short time. It was some of the members of Rough Cut and a couple of members of Quiet Riot. And we did music from both bands. And we only did a few shows, maybe 4 or 5 shows, but it was fun. I don't think it was a thing where we were intending it to go far. We were just having fun with it, you know.
Do you remember if you listened to the first King Kobra album, Ready to Strike in 1985, or the band shared the stage with Quiet Riot?
They have before, actually. We've done shows with King Kobra before. One time in Acapulco, Mexico. And I think there might have been some other shows before in the United States, but I know for sure Acapulco, Mexico, there was a big festival down there, and King Kobra was on the bill with us, and a bunch of other bands as well.
Did you participate in the writing process on We Are Warriors, or the song were written when you come?
I brought in like 3 or 4 songs, and the rest were pretty much written before I came in. We Are Warriors and Drowning and Dancing with the Wind I brought in. There might have been a 4th one. I don't have the songs in front of me, but for sure I brought in 3 songs.
The other guitar player in the band now is Rowan Robertson. How did you agree to share the guitar solos in this CD?
Yes, Rowan Robertson was the other guitar player on the record, but unfortunately, if we tour, he probably won't be able to do the tour. Well, when we recorded this record, it was the first time in my whole career I ever recorded a record like this, where you record at home on your computer and send all the files to the producer, and they put it all together. You know, every album I've ever done before has been the whole band in a studio all together at once, you know, but the new technology, it is what it is, and that's the way people are doing it today. So Rowan just did a bunch of solos, and I did a bunch of solos, and they used them probably where they wanted to use them, you know.
There is something that maybe I didn't understand really well, that Robertson was in the recording, but not in the tour.
Well, he's a very busy person. He's got a lot going on, and I don't think he could be in any band at the moment.
Who is going to be with you, or only you?
No, there'll be another guitar player. Right now we have a guy named Tavis on guitar, and he did the video with us, and I'm sure he'll be doing a tour with us if we go out. Something
that to me is interesting is that there is no surprise in this CD. Is simply King Kobra, the classic hard rock of the 80s. How do you feel with the sound of this CD?
Well, they may be similar in many ways because they were influenced by 80s, obviously back then. And we tried to make this album sound very 80s, you know. A lot of the lyrics are about what we did back then, partying and hanging out on the Sunset Strip, especially at Warriors is about partying on the Sunset Strip. And a lot of the songs are 80s with a maybe blues edge to it, you know. But, you know, that's what we are about. We're an 80s band, so we try to stick to that sound, you know.
Why did the band decide to play a cover of the classic song Love Hurts?
Actually, they had that song recorded before I came in. And I would say probably because of Paul's vocals. He has a perfect voice for that song. And I'm sure Carmine and him decided to do a cover of it based on that, I would think.
One of the songs that I like it a lot is Secrets and Lies.
Oh, yeah, Secrets and Lies. Yeah.
Secrets and Lies. Yes, tell me.
Yeah, that's, I think Rowan, I don't remember exactly, but I think all the guitar playing and soloing is me. I think Rowan might have had a few licks in there. I have to go back and listen again. But I know all the ending part is all me, the middle and the end and all that.
How is working with Carmine Appice?
Oh, we've worked on a lot of things. I've never recorded with him before, but I've done a lot of shows with him, performances and things like that. And I've known him since probably like the mid 80s, 85, 86 maybe. And he's always been a great guy and good sense of humor, easy to get along with, total professional, great singer, songwriter, drummer. You know, he does it all. He's a triple threat, quadruple threat. The guy is amazing. He really is. And it was really a pleasure to work with him. No, after I arrived. That was the record company decision.
I'm sure that you have some plans for going on tour. But do you have some dates?
There's no dates in the books at the moment, but I'm sure in the future we're hoping to maybe do some shows, maybe some festivals like Rocklahoma, M3 Festival, things like that. I don't see us really doing like a long tour in a bus or nothing like that. That would just be a lot of work. Unless the album all of a sudden started becoming a big hit, we may have to. I don't know. But, we'll see how it goes, you know. And we're hoping to do some shows. I think we probably will in the future, maybe by the end of the year or something.
Have you come to Europe to play with the band?
Yes, I have. I came there in 2008 or 9, I think it was, with Big Noise, Jolyn Turner and Phil Soussan and Vinny Appice and myself. And then before that, I came there with Quiet Riot. That was in the 90s, though. I think that was more like 20 years ago.
Yes, I wasn't living here in that moment. I remember that Quiet Riot come to Europe.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
We have many times.
We must remember now, talking about Quiet Riot, that Metal Hell was the first heavy metal album to reach the top of the Billboard chart. Won 6 platinum, 6 million copies. Can you remember now that the years has passing by? How did you feel with this huge success?
Oh, it's been 40 years now. The 40th anniversary of the release of the album was in March. And the anniversary of it going #1 in the charts is in November, first week in November, I believe. But it brings back a lot of great memories. I was very proud of us, what we did. I don't regret anything that we did. The only thing I regret is us, you know, breaking up, not working anymore. Just I don't know how that all happened, but just the work environment became very toxic after a while, and then counterproductivity set in, and we couldn't get anything done. And finally, the band imploded, and that was it. But yeah, I'm definitely proud of everything that we did. We had a lot of great achievements. We did a lot in a few short years.
Let me tell you, maybe you know that the fans usually think that when a band sells millions of copies, the money reigns over the musician, and all of you are millionaires. You, who passed the experience of being a million record sellers, tell me, what is the real situation about that?
Well, yeah, definitely money can go to some people's head when they have that kind of success. Me, myself, I'm a very easygoing guy. I'm a very reasonable man, and I just didn't take everything so seriously, and it's only rock and roll, right? How serious can you take it? But yeah, you got to watch yourself and be careful with your money, because there's times when the success is not there, and you got to be careful sometimes. And it's a big game you got to play for sure.
Yes, I remember that the record company was expecting that Condition Critical get the same success. However, they consider a failure, but Condition Critical sold 3 million copies. It's not a failure at all.
Compared to Mental Health, it may be considered a failure, but on its own, yeah, anybody would probably give their left arm to sell a couple million records. But I guess they had high expectations of us, but they shouldn't have had that. Not every album is going to be that successful. It's just the way the business is. You got to take the bad with the good and deal with it.
Yes, and now the year has passing by, and now in 2020 or 23, if you sell maybe 1 million copies, it will be a great success.
Right.
Yes.
It would be.
Perfect. And I remember that when you get in Quiet Riot, you replace Randy Rhoads. Mm-hmm. Did you feel any pressure when you took the place of Randy Rhoads?
I didn't, because not that many people remember Randy with Quiet Riot. They remember Randy with Ozzy, but not Quiet Riot. Quiet Riot didn't have that kind of success with Randy, unfortunately. So I never even thought about it. I just did my thing and went on.
There is a band when you were working, and this band to me was really interesting. Now I'm going to mention, and maybe you will know that this band is not famous at all. It's Three-Legged Dog. When you work, yes, yeah. You work with Vinny Appice.
Right, right.
Yes, and tell me, now that you have been working with Vinny and Carmine, tell me, do you recognize big differences between Vinny and Carmine when they are playing drums?
They are kind of similar, but I think maybe Vinny's more of a slower groove player, maybe, and Carmine's more all over the place, maybe. I don't know, but they're both great people to work with. I had a lot of fun working with Vinny, and I'm sure I'll work with him again in the future at some point. And working with Carmine's great too. So actually, I sat in with them on stage when they did their drum war thing, so I got to play with them both at the same time. That was fun.
As long as you remember, did Three-Legged Dog play together in concert promoting Frozen Summer in 2006 or not?
We only did like a couple of shows. I think 3 or 4 shows, if I remember right. Not that many. Everybody had other things going on and couldn't deal with it, so it's the way it goes.
And another band that let me tell you that I knew and listened to that band 2 or 3 days ago when I was checking information for the interview, is when you work with your brother Tony Cavazo in the band right. Spirit Live in the early 70s and later in Snow. And right. I discovered that in 2017, Escape Music released a double live CD from Snow, the band, entitled At Last. Right. Tell me, what can we find there?
Well, actually, At Last was a live CD and a studio CD. One was a compilation of a bunch of recordings we made throughout the years. But you could find the original version of Bang Your Heads on that record. It's called No More Booze. It's on the live CD. And that was some of our early writing days. That's the first professional band I was in, basically. Before that, I was just cover bands. So that was the first band that I started writing songs and performing live in the Hollywood scene in the Sunset Strip.
Is the first release that you did on you recorded in the past?
Yes, it is. We had an EP out, vinyl, 10-inch EP. That came out when we were around in the 70s, late 70s. We never, after it was not distributed anymore, we never redistributed it or nothing like that. So it sat around for a long time, and then we got the record deal with Escape. and released it on CD, digital format.
Yes. Let me tell you that I have a brother, and I am not a musician, but I cannot imagine my brother working with me. And yes, and tell me, so because you didn't have the opportunity to work with Tony for more than 35 years, like, do you consider that working with him is something that gives you happiness, or is normal?
Oh, it brings me happiness working with him. We always got along. We had our differences when we're not on stage on working together. Like just his brothers, but when we're working together, we never argue or fight or nothing like that. That's always good. And actually, he did do the bass on "Dance with the Wind." That's Tony playing bass on the King Kobra record. And also another footnote, Bob Daisley played bass on "One More Night." So, and the rest is Johnny Rod.
And the other part is that you were playing guitar with Ratt. Did you record Infestation in 2010?
Yeah, almost 10 years, 9 years, I think.
9 years, 9 years.
Yeah, I recorded the Infestation with him, and I brought in a couple songs as well. And that was a lot of fun working on that record. I had a good time. I know, we're not together anymore, but at the end of the day, they're still my friends. I like all the guys. And I thought we came up with a good record. And it was that was probably one of the most funnest records I ever recorded in my career. We got to go to some like big house in the middle of nowhere in Virginia and like on the beach and record it. And it was a lot of fun with Elvis Baskett producing. He was a really good producer.
I read that it was Vinny Appice who give your phone number to Warren DeMartini, and he calls you. Yes, tell me. Yes,
that is true.
Yes,
that is true. Vinny ran into Warren at some club in Hollywood, and Warren asked him for my number, and he gave it to him. And then when Warren called me, I missed the call, and I checked his message, and he said, call me when you have a moment. I have something I want to tell you. I run by you. And I'm thinking, what is there, some big, huge party that's going on in town? And, everybody's going to be going or what? So I call him up, and he says they're interested in checking me out to be in the band. And I said, well, awesome. I'd love to be. And I appreciate the fact that they offered me to be in their band. And I came down and we started working, and it seemed to work out. And we wrote some songs together, and the rest is history.
So let me confess you, Carlos, when I read that information, I imagined that you told Vinny, why are you giving my phone number? So
send me through this hell. Why?
So tell me, how was the experience in these 9 years with the band?
It was fine. I liked working with those guys. I almost have to say that it was more fun working with them than Quiet Riot. It was like being in the 80s again, working with those guys. They're really fun on the road. They hang out with you and they have fun with you and stuff. Sometimes you go on a tour with a band and they don't associate. They all do their own thing and hide and don't hang out with each other. And I hate that. I like when they all hang out together, and they're like that. And it was fun. I had a lot of fun with those guys.
Yes. I have also read that those classic bands from the 80s, Quiet Riot or Ratt, Greg White or Poison, now all the musicians that now are in the 50s, the 60s, they sometimes are together. Is something common?
Is it normal for that? I don't know. It just happens to be that way for me because I'm not in any band anymore, really. And people give me opportunities, and they get a hold of me and give me these great opportunities. So I, go from thing to thing, I guess. I don't know. It is pretty weird. I never thought I'd be playing with all these people either. I thought I'd be with Quiet Riot my whole life, but it happened out that way in my career. I've been out of Quiet Riot for longer than 20 years now, and sometimes people think I'm still in the band. No.
Yes, some people think that you are still in the band. Yes. Yes. And I'm sure that you will tell me that your favorite bass player is going to be Tony Cavazo. But let me tell you that you play with two Cuban bass players that they are Rudy Sarso and Juan
Right.
Cruzier. Yes, tell me,
Juan Cruzier.
how was the experience, the relationship with both?
I had a good relationship with both of them. They're both my friends, and they're definitely strong-headed about their careers, which is understandable, and they're hard-headed about what they do, which is great. Maybe that's a Latin way, you know, Latin people want to do it their way, which is perfect, you know, because what they did was awesome, you know. Rudy's a great bass player. Juan's an amazing bass player. They're both just great. And they're maybe different a little bit in personalities. Juan might have a little stronger personality, but they're both, you know, good people.
And in your personal case, Carlos, your Latin roots, do you keep it alive, or you are is really not interested on it?
Oh, I'm really interested in my Latin roots, and I play, you know, flamenco and Spanish guitar and stuff all the time. And I even worked with a Latin singer from Argentina. He had records out in Argentina, and we get together and write songs once in a while. And he sings in Spanish and English. And our music is very Latin oriented, flamenco styled, maybe like a little like the Gypsy Kings or something like that. And none of us ever been released yet, but hopefully in the future we'll have something out.
Very interesting, Carlos. So now for closing the interview, if what can you say in positive about the new King Kobra CD, We Are Warriors, to the people that doesn't know that the CD will be released this weekend?
Right. Well, I want everybody to look forward to it because you're going to like it. It's definitely right in the vein of 80s styled rock, and it's got a nice bluesy edge. It's got a good cover tune with Love Hurts, and the rest are all original songs. And there's good performances from everybody from the members of the band, Carmine, Paul Shortino, Rowan Robertson, myself, and Johnny Rod. And we had, like I said earlier, my brother played bass on Dance with the Wind, and Bob Daisley played bass on One More Night. And there's other surprises on the record as well, I'm sure, other guest appearances. And I think everybody's gonna like it. It's a good, you know, powerful driving record.
Yes. And now the most difficult question, Carlos. Can you say goodbye to your Spanish fans in Spanish?
Yes.
Perfect.
In Spanish?
Yes.
Yo quiero decir adiós a todos mis fans en España, y estoy esperando cuando viaje ahí y tocar. Hopefully it's not too long from now.
Muy bien, Carlos, muy bien. Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias.
Muchísimas gracias. Hope to see you in Spain. Hope to see you in Madrid. If you come to Spain, I'm sure that you will play in Madrid. So I will be aware. And if
we'll take care of you and get you into the show, no problem. Give you tickets and stuff.
Yes. If I see that you are coming to Spain, I will contact
me on my email. Yeah, you have my email, or Dan or Jeff Keller or something.
Perfect, Carlos. Perfect. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Tony, for having me on your show. Really appreciate it. And thank everybody in Spain for me. I love it there.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.